Please join us in congratulating 2015 Distinguished Alumnus, George D. Morgan.
Well, thank you very much. I told Bill I wasn't going to pull a banner on him tonight, so hopefully we'll hang with it. But first thing I would really like to do is thank the Alumni Association so very much for even considering me for this award. When you look at the past recipients and the person who's going to follow me tonight, it's more than just an honor. It's a real privilege, and I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. The other thing I'd like to do is just thank, as the video said, the doctors from USF Health, Tampa General, and Moffitt. Really, if anybody hopefully will never be diagnosed with multiple myeloma, but when you are in the greatest location in the country in terms of being treated, any plasma-related malignancy. And I can tell you that is, I know a little about cancer care, but that's something that is a for sure. The other thing I like to do is thank my friends and family during the last 6 months. The amount of prayers and support that I've had has been incredible. You really begin to understand who your friends really are, and then the people who came from pretty long distances tonight to be here. My brother Paul, who of course surprised me from Seattle. I appreciate him so much coming here tonight. And my very good friend Richard Parr, who we worked very closely with restructuring a company in Dallas about 26 years ago. And he came from Detroit just for this. I really do appreciate that. And my old mentor, Woody Grossman from Price Waterhouse, came from Dallas. Of course, he knows Lynn, too, so it was a 2-for-1 that he had. And then I'd also really like to thank my fraternity brother of 40 years, Barry Collier, and his wife Dana for coming up here from Naples, and I really appreciate that. Most of all, I really, I know this award is for me, but the thing I'd really like to say is that almost 33 years ago, I met this wonderful woman who really changed my life. At the time, I thought I was going to be a career short-term serial monogamist, and that quickly changed, and I'm really glad, because I'm still alive today for that reason, I think. But I just appreciate everything we have is because of you, and it's your unselfish support. You subordinated your own career, you moved yourself away from family, friends a number of times, and always made my life easier. You believed in us. You encouraged me to take the highest level of investment in all these opportunities that came along, and fortunately it all worked out, so I wouldn't disappoint you. But I just really, really appreciate having you at my side for the last 32 plus years. Well, the other thing is, I am from Pittsburgh. I'm a mutt. I'm from the land of Heinz 57. My grandfather Morgan was a coal miner, a World War I veteran who was mustard gassed in the fields of France, managed to come back to the United States, and he ended up raising 7 children in a coal mining town called Harmerville in Indianola, Pennsylvania. My maternal grandfather and my mother and the whole family were immigrants from northern Norway, where he enjoyed a career as a fisherman and a seal hunter, but this was well before PETA, so don't get upset about that. He never wanted to move anywhere, but my grandmother, my nanny, was a force of nature, and she said, Adolf, you got to get to the United States, you got to get a job, because I'm bringing the kids next year, because we're not raising them by the Arctic Circle. So that was the end of that. Fortunately, they were in the same town. My parents met after World War II. My parents were terrific influences on my brother and I. My dad actually got courtesy of the United States Navy 6 months after Pearl Harbor, 2 years of aeronautical courses at Rensselaer Polytechnic, University of North Carolina, until they got comfortable that he could take off and land an F-6F Hellcat on the wood deck carrier of a Jeep carrier in the South Pacific. So At the end of World War II, he didn't go back to college, and he met and married my mother. Neither one of them finished, but their children were going to go. So it came time to decide, Pitt or Penn State was the logical choice for a Pittsburgher? No, I don't think so. No. I heard about this school in Florida, and I knew it was a lot warmer down here, but it turned out to be even less expensive. It was a terrific opportunity. I had no idea the hidden benefits that were going to be here. As the video said, I started out as a pre-med major. I all in for chemistry through all the freshman year. Even earned a B in Dr. Graham Solomon's last organic chemistry course that he taught before he went to England to write a textbook. But so I was pretty proud. I said, well, it's about time I start talking about med school. So I packed up that load of B's and walked over to meet a Sage graduate assistant in the bowels of the Science Center to talk about my future in medicine. It lasted about a minute. He looked and he said, I'm not remotely familiar with any medical school that's going to admit you with these grades. I said, okay. Well, as the fighting philosopher Mike Tyson once said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. So that was the beginning of part two. As said, my $379 trip to Jamaica. When I lived in Pittsburgh, I never got to Philadelphia, so this was a pretty big deal to me. I learned a lot on that trip. I had a good time, too, but Dr. Perez really changed my life. He was a Latin American history professor, ended up being one of the best professors of the year here before he went to, he's now an endowed chair at the University of North Carolina. I still make contact with him. But it was a terrific thing because Plan B started to take hold. I became an economics major. I was all in for that, too. And I was just really, really pleased with my decision. And the core business courses, it all came pretty easy to me. And about 4 quarters later, I was asked to join Beta Gamma Sigma. And I'm glad they asked me then, because if they'd have waited until I was an accounting major, they wouldn't have admitted me, but that was okay. The thing I would tell you is that it was terrific, the things that it opened up and offered. Well, as I said, I wanted to test the waters, two courses shy. I'm an economics major, and see what kind of job opportunities there were. So I went down to the co-op office, and I said, I'd like to do a co-op program. And they said, well, we don't have any opportunities for economists. I said, oh, okay, so well, we have something in accounting, and it's Arthur Young and Company, and why don't you go ahead and interview with them? So I did. I convinced them I was going to be an accounting major, which I ended up doing. I added another year of school for being on a co-op program, and fortunately graduated with my degree in accounting. Now, in 1976, it was every man for himself at the College of Business. It was you run down, sign your name on whoever was interviewing. I was willing to talk to anybody at that point in time. I just wanted a job. It was 2 years after a really terrible 2-year recession. So fortunately, early on in my quest, I interviewed with a company called Humana. And I came to learn that they owned hospitals. I said, I thought only nuns in government owned hospitals. I said, well, I better read up some more on this. So anyway, I was fortunate they hired me for a 2-year financial management training program, which really became the foundation for a very long career in the healthcare industry. I was really very, very fortunate, because at the time there was no Collier Center for Student Success. In fact, Barry and Dana weren't even married then. Barry was just my fraternity brother. He was still trying to be a successful student. So what has happened today and with what Moaz and Lamayan has done, I think is just the future for all college business graduates is going to be very, very bright. But as time went on, I was very lucky. I had a number of really good mentors in my life. One of them who's here tonight, Woody Grossman from Price Waterhouse, who is just a terrific guy. He really helped me gain a lot of confidence in what I was doing. At the end, in '89, I left Price Waterhouse and went to work in Dallas, where I met Richard Parr. And we had the privilege of working with a guy by the name of Brian Marcel, who it was in the early stages of his restructuring firm, Alvarez and Marcel. So I learned a lot about cash flow. Anyway, I was very fortunate all those subsequent jobs to work with people who cared about me, who really offered me more opportunities than my pedigree would allow. Unfortunately for Jane, most of them were in new cities, so we had to pack up and move every single time. It all worked out. And by 2007, the good luck truck had driven up a few times to US Oncology, and I determined it was time to do what any natural-born kid from Blawnox, Pennsylvania would do, which was pursue a career in leisure time expertise. So we moved back to Florida, to our place in Florida, so every day I'd walk Siesta Beach, and my biggest stress was deciding whether I was going to go fishing or golfing that day and what restaurant we were going to go to that night. And as it likely said, my wife, being more practical, was very involved with Florida State. And I saw how much joy she really had in that, and she did say to me, she said, "Are you going to live 30 more years of frivolous activity, or are you going to do something meaningful?" Enter the door, Les Muma. So, Les Muma talked to me about being involved in the foundation. He really mentored me in this process, and I have to tell you that it's been the greatest experience. It's just opened a lot of other doors, and for Provost Wilcox to appoint Bob and I and Les to the search committee, and it being a businessman, I thought it was a cut and dry decision. It would happen in about 2 weeks. Well, it didn't, and fortunately it didn't, because eventually we met Dr. Moaz Malayam, and I just got to tell you that we are in really good stead. So everything that I've done since then, guys, has just been really a real pleasure. And anytime you have a university that meant so much to you as a young person, to, in the fourth quarter of your life, be able to come back and do so many fun and interesting things, it's like continuing to learn, to continue to be involved and build the great things that this university has accomplished and hopefully will continue to accomplish. And I really appreciate the recognition tonight. I appreciate the opportunity, Judy and Joe and Joel, everybody who has enabled me to be involved. It means an awful lot to me, and thank you very, very much.